Echoes of Sankofa, Episode 1.
Okay, hello. Welcome everyone. So this is our first official episode of Echoes of Sankofa podcast. My name is Paul Gutierrez. My major is political science. And I would like to start off everyone to introduce themselves also with their major. And with the first question is, why did you join this podcast? Why not the podcast? Why did you join the club? Like, what made you join or help create the club?
Okay, my name is Anastasia Berry, and I am the vice president of Sankofa Activist Club. I'm an anthropology major, and I wanted to join this club because it involves an aspect of a career that I would like to have in finding our history and learning from it. So that's why I joined.
Hi everyone, my name is Linda Bushe Sibanda and I am a nursing major, and my role in the club is I am a creative director. So the reason why I joined the club is because I feel like it's important for me to continue learning about my history as a young black woman, and also I think it's important for me to also pass down what I learned to the future generation. So that's one of the main reasons I joined the club.
Okay, my name is Janaya, and I'm the social media coordinator for the club, and my major is psychology. And the reason why I joined this club is because, like, I really want to be able to find my own voice, but also help other people find their voice. And I think it's important to really find our voices as, like, people of color or underrepresented groups, because we've always been knocked down historically. So, yeah, that's why I joined the club, to find our voices and share our voices.
Hey. And we have another member who was not able to join us. His name is Daniel, and he is the treasurer. Unfortunately, he had some way to go to, but he's one of our members.
To me, the reason I wanted to join this club is because I thought it was so exciting. An ethnic studies club in a campus that just barely got ethnic studies teachers over here. When I first saw it in the class, when my professor was announcing it, I thought it was I wanna join. I wanna do something. It's my first semester here, and I felt so excited.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping to find community in this club, help build it also, because it gives someone a place to go, helps you learn where you come from, what the history is behind it, and yeah.
So this is our podcast. So this podcast is mainly to for students to voice out their opinions and what they think, also just to freely express ourselves, because I think us as students, we don't really have that platform to express ourselves, and it's just to just have a social platform where we can all have fun.
Yeah, we're trying to make a space for students to voice their opinions on political things, on things that are affecting them in their everyday lives, because they matter and their voices matter. And ethnic studies was started by students, so we're going to continue that legacy here at Marina Valley College. And so, yeah.
Can I also add, I feel like it's important that we really stress the political thing, because people are so scared to be political now.
Yeah.
And given how everything is played out in our society, we need to be talking about this.
So 100.
Yeah, I think politics, especially with the whole elections, people are still afraid to voice out their opinions and why they voted this and that. So I think this platform will help people, to be more freely expressive of their political views.
Yeah.
And I think it's it makes it more comforting, since you're not in such a big audience. You're not being always eyes on me. A good thing about this podcast, you don't have to be on camera. We could add a camera if it's optional, but right now it's audio only.
We're trying to get different perspectives. There are a lot of people out there that say, I'm not into politics. Well, politics is into you. It affects your everyday life. It affects your education, where you get your food, how you get your food, where you can live, all kinds of things. And you have things like the, school to prison pipeline. And so these are just things that really need to be discussed, like we're students who are going into different majors that, where we can make change, where we can do things. And yeah, so that's.
Yeah, one of the most common questions we get asked is, what is Sankofa? What are we about? What do we
Yeah.
do? And I feel like it's a very important question, because since we're a new club, um, it's we don't really have one specific, how can I say it? Like, it's a very wide explanation because it's mainly about our roots, like to go back and to also help build the future. So people might describe it in a different way, but then the whole idea of the club is to just bring back our roots and to also help, innovate the future. So that's mainly what we're about, and I guess everybody
And
else has.
talking about going back with what you just said, Anastasia, I really liked the way you said that. I mean, we not maybe into politics, but politics is into us. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I thought it was like something unique to say.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember where I heard it, but like it just clicked, and I was like, yeah, it's in your everyday life, and you cannot, escape it. You can bury your head, but that's not going to change anything. So, yeah.
And I would like to start off the second question. I would like to say is like, what does activist mean to each one of us? To me, it's like going out and fighting what you believe in, to really put your voice out there to make that change, and to show that you care of what you're doing, that you want progress to happen.
Yeah. I think for me, activism is just to bring awareness, because people are not really aware of what's happening around them, Just, it's just, I think activism is it's like people just becoming one to raise awareness of like the things happening around us. So to be a collective, basically, and I think that's really important for us to know.
I'm trying to think of the way to put this into the right words.
Yeah.
I feel like activism is really just to be you, is to go out and show up as you, because I feel like a lot of times we always try to conform into some like societal idea, and I feel like we need to break away from that. So just going out and being you, fighting for what you believe in, is activism.
Yeah. To me, activism, it's a fight for equality and equity, and it's also a fight for love and compassion. Basically, like seeing another person as a human being, like despite your differences, your backgrounds, your ethnicity, whatever, you're a human being first, and um, what you have gone through basically makes you. And I look at people like James Baldwin and and Bayard Rustin, and Martin Luther King, and Bell Hooks and Audre Lorde, and these people, they stood on their word, and they really spoke to people, and those are the voices that we're listening to, that we need to grow and learn from. And I'm hoping that students here can learn from those people, and even go further. That's what we're trying to do here.
And I like this so much because we can actually learn stuff while we're doing this podcast. Especially, we can even help teach others of what's going on with real good issues,
Yeah.
what's going around the world, like some things that aren't very published in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be discussing a lot of topics like, feminism, cultural differences, just I think um, it's a wide platform, there's not really one specific issue like we're trying to tackle, it's just a free platform of expression. So I think us creating the podcast is just a step closer to tackling the issues, basically. Yeah.
Letting students voice
Yeah,
their,
letting students voice
their
them. Yeah,
opinions.
voice themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like the next question, I think we basically answer is what we stand for. I feel like we all stand for equality, freedom of expression, especially through this podcast, because it is our First Amendment right to say what's wrong, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like more recently, it's we can't really say things without being censored or without us with this constant fear in the back of our
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
that
Being judged and
being
being
judged,
misunderstood. I
exactly.
think that's one thing, being misunderstood. So I think if we can all come in as a collective, and just
Yeah.
raise our voices, I think it's better if we're together than for you to stand alone.
Yeah.
But also we still wanna like put it out there that even if you're alone, you still have the power to make the change. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I love this club so much. Even though you said like in case you feel alone, we like Sankofa Activism Club, we are here to be your community. We're here to be behind you so you wouldn't feel alone. So you would feel more comfortable to name out these issues, especially on this platform or in a room full of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our meetings, we're hoping to have forum circles where we can discuss things and then maybe bring them to the podcast. So, yeah, definitely having our members voice their opinions
And probably having guests as well.
yeah,
That's
and
what
guest
we're working.
speakers.
Yeah, having guest speakers, having leaders, having public speakers. So I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
So, as a club, what could we offer more onto campus? What could we offer besides the podcast?
I think that besides the podcast, there are a lot of things we're looking into, like the club meetings, for example. Like, we want students to have a sense of belonging, like a sense of community, and if possible, just to, plan, like, for example, like, museums, so that, like, students can learn about their roots and, like, where they come from, like, like, stuff like that. And just giving students that freedom to meet, like, public speakers, public figures. And at some point we're just thinking of exhibiting this podcast like on wider and bigger platforms. So there's more to discover for sure, but for now, I think we're working like little by little. But I think the platform that we're on is really growing into something great for sure.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, we're grassroots, but we're growing.
Yes.
And we're planting seeds. People will see the work that we're slowly but surely getting done.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that we're gonna be helping students to advocate for themselves.
Yes.
We're going to give them a space for that, to advocate for themselves on this campus.
Yeah, let them know that
especially
their voice
given the
matters.
environment that we're now in after the election. A lot of people may not feel necessarily protected, and so we hope to provide a space where we can make everybody feel like they are accepted and they're part of the group.
And I like it that we want them to feel especially very safe with us, because more recently now they are really trying to like whitewash history, put
Hey.
away, like
Speak
take
on
out
it,
all the
Paul.
colors
Speak on
that's
it.
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah,
that
for
went
sure.
on in the world.
Yeah.
And they're especially why it's important to go to museums is to get that history while we still have it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was going into anthropology and I want to go into historical archaeology in the African diaspora, is because like I want to find that history that they're so much trying to hide, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, everybody contributed to this country in like their own way. Like you can't erase that for any ethnicity, whether it be African American, whether it be Hispanic, Mexican, whether it be indigenous, whether it be Filipino, whether Chinese. Like they've all contributed in their own ways. Like it's just you can't hide that fact, and the fact of the things that they've had to go through in order to um, succeed in this country. Yeah, you can't sweep that under a rug. You're not going to sweep that under the rug. So
Yeah, isn't there like a quote that says historians are like the biggest threat to society?
yeah.
Yes.
Because they can unleash like everything.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh.
I guess that was gonna kind of be my answer for what we can offer. I know we've heard this quote a lot, like knowledge is power, but that's definitely true. And like the Sankofa Activist Club, we're really just unleashing that power and unlocking it for the students. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's so dumb. Like, how could they try to wash away our history? You can see our history outside. You can see multiple cultures, multiple people outside interacting with each other every single day. You can go to a store, you can see basically anyone you want. How could they erase something that is in front of us?
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't let them, Paul.
Yeah,
We won't
Exactly.
let them.
So basically, yeah, we just want to use our knowledge, and like Janaya said, that knowledge is power, and we definitely have the power to make a change and to keep the history. We are the history, If not us, then who? So
Exactly. We're the history makers here.
yeah, we're history makers.
Yeah.
So yay to us.
Yeah.
And I would just like to thank especially our like advisors. I don't know if they want us to say their
Yeah.
names.
So
So
Dr.
it's
Lindsay
And
Dr.
Giles.
because
They're amazing.
without Dr. Lindsay naming the club, I would have
Yeah.
just stayed in class and nothing. Without Dr. Giles helping us,
Yeah.
really pushing us
Yeah.
to communicate more, especially
Yeah.
concerning our roles and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know how well we could have put this podcast together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they're really empowering and they're demotivating, because I think they see the vision more than us, and they see that we have the potential of being, great students. Like
Yeah,
Dr.
they
C-
push. I know they
He's
push
crying.
us in a good way.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's
love
so
it.
amazing, like how one person's vision can become another person's mission, So I think that in our next podcast we'll definitely be featuring them more, so that you guys can hear more about them and what they have to say, because I think they're like the brains of this, So we are just, adding up on the knowledge that they've been teaching us, and I think it's just amazing how inspiring like two people can be. So we're really
Yeah,
really
if
appreciate
not
them.
for Dr. Giles and Dr. Lindsay,
even
Yeah.
though this is
we would
a
not be here.
student-led club,
yeah
we couldn't be here without them,
Yeah.
especially.
yeah
So,
definitely. So
definitely.
next podcast,
Yeah.
keep an eye on them, they'll be here. Yeah, so wrapping it up, we just want to say thank you for everybody who was able to join us.
So
Oh.
our next podcast we will probably be doing in the spring. We do plan on talking to the president, hopefully asking her some questions. Huh? At Moreno Valley College. Yes. So we're gonna get that together.
Yeah, and we're
Yes.
helping to, as the podcast go, having more guest speakers, to share like their thoughts and how they see the world. So yeah, keep an eye on that too.
Yeah.
And
Especially more students on the podcast.
Yeah.
because this is a student-led
A student
club,
led
so
club.
yeah, we're definitely thinking of bringing more students to voice out their opinions. So
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah,
thank
so
you.
wrapping it up.
Yes, thank you for everyone listening.
Yes.
We are the Echoes of Sankofa, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.